I'm out in the greenhouse, but let's take a look back last weekend. Becky and I were up at the boat and worked on a few things, nothing major, but don't forget, like, share, subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel, and I hope you enjoy this video as we get back and do some work on the boat. Hey, good morning, or it's morning here. It may not be morning when you're watching this, wherever you are. We're back on the boat after having some family in for a couple of months at the house farm. We've been able to get back to the boat today, so we're tinkering around. I'll show you what's going on. So a while back I showed where we were starting to change the bilges, putting a bilge coat paint, and we're going with white over the original gray to help brighten things up. This will actually be hidden underneath the battery, and I don't know if you recall, but we had a collapse of a cross member here, so that'll have to be fixed and this conduit replaced. I'm actually in the process of removing this conduit because when I detail this out, I want to get that off and get everything out of the way and get it painted. A lot of detail work to do. Then we get the batteries back in. We're going to actually also paint, all this soundproofing, insulation. We'll even paint up these walls. This water heater looks like we've got a corroded connector there we'll need to address. This is the fresh water pump. I might even try to relocate that just so it's a little bit more tidy. 40-year-old trawlers, as you can imagine, just stuff gets added on over the years, and they get a bit disorganized. I've already taken a bunch of stuff out of here. I've still got a funnel to grab out of here, so you can kind of see this side. There's our inverter. We got a second set batteries that go on this side. They're the big 8Ds, and I think that cross member suffered under the weight of those 8Ds. So love to go lithium, but they're so expensive. Anyway, just detail work, and we're going to get into some electrical work. You can see where these terminals, they just added everything onto the terminals. We've got a bus bar that will handle 600 amps total, and so we'll use it as our positive bus bar with a switch that we can do a disconnect like we did over here on the inverter. I added that was never there, so it just gives you the ability in a situation where you may need to get that power removed quickly, you can do that. So now we've got that conduit out of there, we got much better access. We'll have to get that cleaned up, and then we can paint the whole thing, and then we'll determine whether we want to paint the conduit or just leave it the gray. This one I won't be able to remove just because of the amount of wiring that comes through it, so we'll probably leave them gray. It'll if they're cleaned up, they'll look nice. They'll give a little contrast of color for the ducts. You can also see the ground bonding strip. It runs all the way back here by the engine and on down, so it's just a common grounding. Some of them are actually soldered or bound, and then some are screwed. It'll give us a chance to get in there and clean those connections wherever it's a screwed connection, and we'll just check the bonding, make sure it's not corroded and has good continuity. I want to always make sure you have good grounds on a boat. We've added this 2-drawer tool cabinet. Becky picked that up, and we've set it in there. I had to raise it up so that the drawers would clear, but it's very convenient because when you're standing and working down in the engine room, you can stand up and have access to hand tools. It's mainly what I keep in there. And having it up here instead of down in the boat is obviously, if something were needed repair up in the cabin areas, then the tools are here and you don't have to keep traversing in and out of the engine room. Now in the engine room we've got a lot of spares, filters, belts, all the stuff, spare parts, alternators, impellers, all that stuff. So that takes quite a bit of storage room, also the oils and other things. So we're keeping the tools up here. We'll actually secure across the top of that so that if we were in heavy seas, then it won't move around. And also some of my DeWalt stuff sits up on top of there, as well as a few shop towels. So it's a nice addition. So Becky did well on that one. So that wire track is now removed. This damaged one. We'll go find a replacement. I may just get all new replacement as opposed to trying just to clean this up. It's pretty nasty, and this stuff's not very expensive. So we'll get that sourced out, and then we'll paint where those were and then replace them, put the wiring back into those harnesses.